Hello and happy Amazing Monday, everyone. I am Dr. Sharon. This is the Grind Entrepreneur Network Spotlight, and we are here with another dynamic entrepreneur. Dr. Carey Yazeed, author, business strategist, and motivational speaker, has owned several successful small businesses, including a photography studio, a bookstore, and a mental health private practice. She has been featured in publications such as Bustle, Forbes, Glamour, and Social Work Today magazine and the New York Post. Dr. Yazeed earned a master's degree in social work from Tulane University and a PhD in higher education leadership and research from Louisiana State University. She hosts a podcast, Beauty, Brains, and Business. And tonight, she is in the Grind Entrepreneur Network Spotlight. Dr. Yazeed, welcome.
Thank you. Well, thank you for having me. That was a great introduction.
Absolutely. I am just excited to have you here today. And while I've given some good information about who you are, please take this opportunity to share with the viewers who Dr. Yazeed really is.
I think you did a pretty good job, but just to add on, I'm also the author of the newly released business book, which is called Lipstick, Heels, and Hustle, A Woman's Guide to Entrepreneurship. And so that is available on Amazon. So it came out in January, actually. And like you said, I have the podcast, Beauty, Brains, and Business. And I actually, last week, I launched Boss Life Academy, which is an online learning platform for new entrepreneurs where you can go and find different resources to help you start your business and also to find that support that you need. So got a couple of things going on.
I tell you, you are busy, busy, busy. And so you are out of Louisiana, is that correct?
Yeah. Yes, I am. South Louisiana. So if y'all hear twang, that's what it is.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And so I really want to start with your new book that's just been released in January. Tell us a little bit about how you came up with the concept with that, and basically what can readers expect if they purchase that book from you?
Okay. Well, if you haven't figured it out by now, most of my clients, about 99% of my clients, are females. And when we look at like the whole business trajectory and the business education, your information is coming from a male perspective. It is not coming from a female perspective. And so men and women function differently. We have different thought processes. We do things different. And so when you're being taught information by a man, it kind of sometimes it doesn't carry over very well, is what I found. So one of the things that I decided was that I wanted to write a business book, but I wanted to write it from a female perspective. And I wanted to touch on those aspects that a book written by a man usually misses. And that big aspect is the emotional piece. Women are emotional creatures, and a lot of decisions that we make are based on our emotions and how it makes us feel. And so when we decide that we're going to open a business, a lot of us are fearful. We are, we're taking a lot of different things into consideration. We also have a lot on our plate as being mothers. We're out there, we're being sisters, we're being caregivers sometimes for our parents. And so we have extra responsibilities that sometimes a man that's in corporate America or looking to start his business may not have. So Lipstick, Heels, and Hustle really talks about that emotional piece of a woman wanting to be an entrepreneur, how she can work through those pieces of, getting through her fears, walking through her fears, having a support system, realizing that everybody is not going to understand what it is that you're trying to do. Because as women, we need that validation. We want that support. And when we don't get it, especially from our family members, sometimes that can be that barrier that just stops you. So I wanted to talk about that and let women know that all the feelings that they're feeling are normal for a female entrepreneur and how to work through those things. And then from there, actually give you the steps that you need to start your own business. So it truly is like a little small hand guide, easy to read, as most people have told me, but very informative. The language is not over your head. So I do keep the language real simple where anyone can read it and understand it.
That is awesome. And so really that really brings me to my next question. You have opened up several businesses. I mean, you've had a photography studio. I mean, just many different things. What are some of the lessons that you've learned from, and you know, even with the variety, they've been different. So that's very interesting as well. So I'm sure there were many lessons learned that you can share, some tips and suggestions that you have for other individuals who are now trying to start up and maybe open up that second business or that third business.
Yes, that sometimes, you know, it's a great idea in your head, and once you try and do it, it might not come out right. And that's okay. My thing is, one thing that I've learned in all the businesses that I've owned is that at least try, give it a try. And that way you don't have that, well, that what if, like, well, I wonder what would have happened if I would have did this. So I say, you know, give it a try, do your research, step out on faith and see what happens. Knowing that sometimes it may not be the success that you had envisioned. That doesn't mean that you're a failure because you did try. I think the other thing that I've learned is that don't jump out there and try and spend a whole lot of money. Try when you're starting, especially if you're starting to venture out, look for some low cost resources, word of mouth, ask people, you know. I love to share my resources, and I utilize free. I like the whole free is for me. So I try and pass that along too, that you don't need a whole lot of money to start a business, because some people think, oh, I need thousands of dollars. And it's like, well, no, you might be dreaming big. So we might have to scale your dream back a little bit, and put you on like a low budget dream, but we can still make the dream happen. And so just kind of being realistic and not putting yourself, you know, it's good to have to dream big, but I also say dream realistic too. And so, you know, as a coach or business strategist, one of the things that I do is sometimes I have to reel people in and say, now, okay, you working with a $10 budget, but you done just gave me a $10 million, you know, business idea. This is not going to work. So let's kind of scale that back. And it's still going to happen, but it's going to be on a smaller scale. And then you can grow into that dream that you want to have. So as being a multiple business owner, those are some things that I've learned, is to start small. And that way, if you don't like it, you haven't invested a whole lot of money. That's the great part. And you don't feel that bad. But if you spent like $10,000 and $20,000 and then it doesn't do anything, you walk away really upset, more so at yourself. So, you know, that's one of the big things that I've learned, is that, you know, start small, test it, see if you like it. And if you don't, it's okay to walk away.
So as a business strategist, who is your ideal client?
Oh, my ideal client, she is usually between the ages of 30 to 45. She has a master's degree. Her base income is usually, her household income is usually about $75,000. She's been in her career for a while, and she's usually feeling like, okay, I've had it with this. I'm ready to do something else. Or she knows that she's not being valued where she is, and that if she went out on her own, she probably could do a lot better. So she is in that stage where she's ready to transition, but she's going to transition smartly. So she's going to sit down and plan it out. She's going to have a team. She's going to have her resources together. She's not going to be me. So she's not going to be the person that has the box under the desk, and when everybody make her mad, it's, oh, okay, I got a business, bye, like, I'll see y'all later. She's more of a planner. So that is my ideal client, and she's normally a minority. So she's usually a woman of color.
Okay, awesome. And so you spoke about that career professional. did you start out in a career before you started in your whole entrepreneur journey?
Oh yeah, I've actually been, I was a clinical social worker my entire adult career. So when I graduated from Tulane, I went straight into the field of social work. And I actually left the field of social work after 23 years. So that was back in October 2016 was when I actually, closed my private practice. And I was at that point, I needed to change. I needed to transition. I needed to try something new. But yeah, in addition to always having what I call a quote unquote side hustle and all these different businesses, I was a social worker, and I also was a college professor. So yeah, I've had the professional career too.
Okay, awesome. And so I want to shift to your podcast. You are a fellow podcaster. I absolutely love podcasting, and we see that it's really getting some new energy here lately, which is a wonderful thing. Tell us about, what your topics are, who are your guests, and where they can find this. I know it's on iTunes, but how else can they find it? And is it live or is it recorded? So share a little bit about it.
So Beauty Brains in Business, I actually started that in September of 2017. Just because I love podcasts. So I love them, love them, love them. But when I started listening, I was just like, well, they don't have sisters. Black women have businesses, and I don't hear anybody representing us. And so that kind of bothered me. And so and when I get bothered, I just say, well, I'm going to just do my own then, because this is what I want to hear. I want to hear about those dynamic women of color who are out there making a difference, because we are there, but we're not being given a spotlight. Like, no one is saying, here, we want to showcase you. We want to showcase what you do. And, and it kind of makes me think about Black Panther. When we talk about kids being able to see themselves on screen, I think as women of color and being entrepreneurs, it helps us when we know that we're not out there by ourselves, and that there are other people out there doing what we're doing, that they know what they're doing. They can give us tips and I wanted that, because I was listening to all these podcasts by either white men or white women, and they didn't have us on there. So, we weren't being showcased. We weren't being featured. And I wanted to give us that platform, especially women. So that is kind of where that idea came from just me listening to other podcasts and seeing that we weren't being represented. My guests they are professionals, and usually they're women that I know. So that helps our conversations to go, because I like to say we're having a conversation. So we're actually on there, we're talking. Sometimes it's about business. Sometimes we're talking about things that professional women go through, but it's not business related. So recently I had a podcaster on. She's a realtor, but she talked about domestic violence, and she talked about, not liking herself for all these years, even though she was this professional. So I kind of bring in you never know what you're going to get, or as I like to say, it's a gumbo. I'm from Louisiana, so we're going to mix it up. It's going to be interesting, never a dull moment. But that's Beauty Brains in Business in a nutshell.
I love that. I really do. And yeah, but definitely have to check it out. So let me ask you this. So my clients are normally startup entrepreneurs, emerging entrepreneurs. With so much going on, you need social media, you need branding, you need marketing, just so many things out there. And people are coming from you left and right with programs and systems and, all of these things. What would you suggest to a startup entrepreneur just starting out? They have their idea, don't have a lot of money, because you mentioned that. And that's one of the good things, that whole funding of your entrepreneur. And the best thing about that, a lot of people are virtual or online entrepreneurs. Right. Some of them are brick and mortar, and you've done both. What would you suggest to them as some first steps to really get started, to really get themselves out there without that whole bundle of funds to help that case?
I like to tell my clients, you need to know, you need to do your research. You need to collect the data. So that goes back to me being a college professor whose background was research. So I was the person who taught research and had all the students who hated her. So, but data is really important because data helps you to save money. When you collect that data, you find out, A, who your ideal client is. You find out what language they are speaking. And so then you can speak that language back to them. When you collect data, you also find out what it is exactly that they want. So you're not going wasting time and energy and money creating products and services that you want that, they don't want that. And so I always say, before you spend a dime, I need you to go get a survey. I need you to ask some questions on social media, and your ideal client is going to gravitate to those questions. They're going to answer them and use that information to get started. So before you spend any money, collect some data. Find out who exactly are you going to be working with. And I think you and I know that. I mean, because when you said, who's your ideal client, I can tell you who she is because I sent her a survey and she filled it out and told me who she was. So I'm not guessing about who she is. And whenever I get ready to offer a new service or a new product, she is going to be included in the process. And she has saved me some money because I've had some really great ideas. And she has come and said, no, I don't need that. And I was like, oh, okay then. And if somebody comes along and says, well, Dr. Carey, I thought you were going to offer. And I said, well, you were the only person who said you wanted it. The rest of my clients said they didn't want it. So I knew then not to make that investment in that product or service. So that is my number one advice is collect the data. Don't be scared of numbers because, for some reason people don't like numbers. Numbers are your friend. And numbers help you to make more numbers when it comes to your bank account. So embrace the numbers.
I love it. I love it. And where can individuals connect with you? Where can they find you? And where, if they would like to hire you as their business strategist, how can they do that?
You can visit my website, which is drcareyyazeed.com. And everything about me is there, including my coaching services that I offer, information about Boss Life Academy, which is the new learning platform that I started. Even if you want to order a copy of Lipstick, Heels, and Hustle, go there and there's a link that's going to take you to Amazon. So everything about me is on that website, and you can just browse around and check me out and see if I'm the person for you.
I love it. And I really appreciate you and your flexibility in everything. And I thank you for being a guest on the Grind Entrepreneur Spotlight. And I definitely look forward to collaborating and connecting with you further. So is there a final message that you would like to leave with all of our viewers?
Well, viewers, if y'all haven't noticed, we got on all this red going on. So, we got to give our sorority a little shout out. So can't leave out our deltas. So.
Okay, I did not know that. That is awesome.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. I really appreciate you, and I definitely look forward to the connection. So guys, absolutely. This has been another wonderful episode of the Grind Entrepreneur Network Spotlight. And remember, our mission is always to support, connect, develop, and highlight entrepreneurs on their grind. And Dr. Carey Yazeed is definitely on her grind. So everyone have a wonderful evening, and we will catch you next week right here on Monday night for another episode of the Grind Entrepreneur Network Spotlight. Have a great night.